Hi, everyone, and welcome to our opening of schools Zoom that we are doing on behalf of the Parent Advisory Council and the Providence Public Schools. My name is Alexis Lamb, and I am one of the co-chairs of the Parent Advisory Committee for the Providence Public Schools. I will have two students at MLK Elementary School this fall, one in kindergarten and one in third.
And hi, I'm Elaine Budish, and I'm the other co-chair of the PAC, and I have an entering fourth grader at RFK Elementary this year.
And the PAC, for those of you who are wondering, consists of parent representatives from throughout the district. The goal is to have at least one parent, but ideally more, from every single Providence public school participate in the PAC. The PAC meets monthly with members of the FACE office, that's the Family and Community Engagement Office of the Providence Public Schools, as well as district leadership to talk about updates on what's going on at the district and to talk about concerns raised by parents. So PAC representatives are typically pretty involved in their children's schools and in contact with other families. So when they come to these monthly meetings, they bring not only their own concerns, but those of other families who are not at the PAC meeting. So we have this graphic here to kind of highlight what we are and what we do. So PAC is that blue circle in the middle. The left-hand side shows district level folks, and the right-hand side in the sort of teal color is more local school community. So the PAC bridges those two groups in our monthly meetings to make sure that there's good communication going both ways. Topics that are frequently addressed include things like school meals, mental health and social emotional learning, school safety, health and wellness, as well as lots of other topics.
So as parents, we thought it would be helpful to have some updates from the district about what to expect as the school year starts. So today we're going to review some important information about COVID policies, school safety, hiring, schedule changes, and a few other updates. To help us out, we've invited Nick Dommings, who's the Chief Communications Officer for the Providence Public Schools, to join us. And Nick, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. As Elaine put so well, my name is Nick. I'm the communications person for the district. And it's our job in my office to make sure that you know what's going on in your school district. And I know that there are plenty of ways that we can do that better. And I'm always looking forward to hear from folks on ways that we can do that. So if you have any ideas, please email them to communications@ppsd.org. We've gotten a lot of great feedback from families already, and we're really looking forward to implementing a lot of their ideas. So looking forward to hearing from you. And also just want to quickly say thank you to Elaine, Alexis, and the entire PAC team for being great partners in improving things like communications in our district. I think we've already been making a lot of progress, so looking forward to the upcoming year as well. So tonight we're going to share some of the new things this school year, some of the headline items that we think will be helpful for parents to know. If you missed any of this during the slideshow, don't worry. It's all on our back to school page on our website on providenceschools.org. So you can see the link here at the bottom bullet point. Also, if you just go to our homepage, providenceschools.org, there is a gigantic back to school banner for you to click on where you can find all of this information as well. One of the big new things to know this year for parents is that there will be a monthly early dismissal day for professional development for teachers. Last year, we had entire days off that were distance learning days for professional development. This year, students will get out 2 hours early, one Wednesday each month for professional development. We will send reminders to parents about these days via Kimbo, and we'll give you a call ahead of time as well, so they won't sneak up on you. And there's a full schedule of these on the website as well. In that back to school page, you can see the academic calendar and see where each of these days are. They're usually the third Wednesday of each month. So that's a big one to keep in mind this year. COVID, obviously, still top of mind. Safety still number one for us. That doesn't change. And we know that even though we're moving into the endemic stage, COVID isn't going anywhere. So this, again, is a big thing on everyone's mind. There is COVID-19 safety guidance on that same back to school page that's available right now. The CDC and Department of Health actually just added a few updates today, today being Thursday, the 25th. So our page on the website will be updated probably tomorrow with the most updated COVID guidance. The big headlines for you to know, though, are that masks are optional. For students and staff. Masks will be available in all schools for anyone who chooses to wear one. We will have asymptomatic testing for the first month of school and heading into and after holiday breaks. There also would be asymptomatic testing anytime that we're in a high transmission stage, according to the CDC. So if we do see cases ramp up, we would go back to asymptomatic testing full time. Students do need a consent form if they're 15 or younger to have that asymptomatic testing done at school. If you signed one of those forms last year, you're all set. You don't need to do it again. You can take away consent if you would like to. Just contact your school nurse. If you have not signed your student up, we would encourage you to do so because it does help keep track of cases and keep things under control in the schools. Again, this year we will have air purifiers in every classroom. The filters in those meet or exceed CDC standards, and they're swapped out regularly by custodial staff. We are still doing cleaning in all classrooms, all high-touch surfaces especially. Anytime there's a positive case reported, that classroom or that area of the school goes through a deep cleaning by Aramark, our vendor. And of course, we're still encouraging vaccination, and we'll make information on vaccination clinics available throughout the year. Emergency communications is another big thing that we are overhauling this school year. We really want to make sure that all of our families are kept in the loop when something is going on at the school. So we sent a Kinvo home to all families this week with a sheet of what families can expect in the case of an emergency. And again, this is also available on that back to school page. So if for some reason you didn't get that Kinvo, first, please let your school know that you didn't get the Kinvo so we can fix that. But you can also find the emergency communications form on our website. The top things to know are if there is a situation at your child's school, if it goes into lockdown, for example, or if there's a police scene nearby in the neighborhood of the school, they'll go into what's called a secured status where they won't let anybody into the building because there's a police scene in the area. If something like that happens, you'll get a text message within the first 15 minutes. So we want you to hear from us first rather than social media that there is an incident at the school. We'll follow up every half hour if the incident doesn't end prior to that with an update so that you won't be left wondering what's going on. And when that emergency does end, we'll let you know that normal learning has resumed. We'll update you if dismissal is affected, anything of that sort. And then the principal of the school will send all parents a follow-up letter within 24 hours detailing fully exactly what happened, how the school responded, anything that they may do differently next time around. So to give you really that complete picture of the incident. That sheet also does include some important do's and don'ts for families. For example, 99% of the time, it's best for families not to come to the school in an emergency. A crowded scene can make it harder for first responders to do their job. People trying to get into the building can make it harder for staff in the building to make sure everybody is safe. So there are really some important pointers in there as well that we hope people will read and take to heart. A couple last things that are new this year. All high school students won't need a pass to ride RIPTA buses through September 30th. RIPTA doesn't have enough of the wave cards that they use, so they decided to let all students, high school students, ride for free through the 30th. This is any date and time too. So if you're a student does sports after school, if they have a game, after hours, they're fine. They can ride the bus before or after. Doesn't have to be during school hours. And then the district's going to follow up next month with families to let you know how the process will work to get those new cards for this year. Or if you have one from last year, how to recharge it. And then lastly, you may get more contacts from the district this year in terms of attendance. We have a district-wide initiative trying to really ramp up attendance this year, especially now that hopefully COVID is going to be less of an impact. We know that students learn better when they're in the classroom. We know that success starts with attendance, starts with being here. So we really have a proactive approach this year. It is not punitive where, threatening punishment. It's more of an encouragement type of approach. And that will include a lot of increased touch points with families. So, more text messages, more calls if a student misses a number of days in a row, checking in with families to see ways that we can support getting that student back into the classroom. And you'll also see, I think a lot of our community volunteers have already been out this summer handing out materials, pamphlets that you can scan with a QR code, again, with resources. We have after hours programs for students who may need it. So you may see a lot more of our folks out in the community as well this year. So That's all part of a really district-wide push to improve attendance this year. One other big thing, of course, that's been on everybody's mind lately has been school safety. So this summer, we wanted to let everyone know that we completely reviewed and revamped the district's emergency protocols. We do this every 3 years in coordination with Providence Police, the Fire Department, and the Emergency Management Agency. We also, once that reworking of the protocol was done, we reviewed it with all principals and building administrators so that they were familiar with the changes. I think one big headline for parents to know is that our emergency protocols require every single school to do 15 emergency drills every school year. So that's fire drills, evacuation drills, lockdown drills. And starting this year, schools are going to be required to send all parents a notice any day that a drill does take place. So especially those of you with younger students, if they come home at the end of the day and say, we had a lockdown, you will actually know, oh, it was a drill. The school let me know everything is fine. This would also, again, prevent families from hearing that something is going on at the school when in fact it's just a drill. So again, that's part of our really trying to improve our communication with folks around safety and emergency situations. This summer, we also did a district-wide safety assessment. We had a third-party vendor come through and walk through every single one of our buildings and create a priority list of things to tackle. So for example, already this year, we've spent, from the summer alone, we've spent about $300,000 in door upgrades at schools across the district. Those are mostly exterior doors, making sure that they close properly, making sure that the alarms work on the doors. There have been several other upgrades too. You might know some schools have new vestibule areas now for visitors where they have to buzz in. So there's a lot of other safety improvements like that underway across the district as a result of that safety assessment. And as we covered, our communications for emergency situations has really been overhauled. We mentioned that you'll get a message anytime that we do a safety drill. All of our principals and we have emergency response teams in every school. All of them are fully up to date on these protocols as well. And again, you should have that updated policy in your Kimbo inbox. And if you don't, please let us know and we'll make sure that we get it to you. Hiring is another big thing. We've all heard of the teacher shortage that's going on nationwide right now across Rhode Island. Providence is no exception, but our HR team has been really hard at work to make sure that we have our classrooms filled for the start of the school year. I think one important thing to remember here is that the turnaround action plan goal for hiring for this school year is to have 96% of our classrooms fully staffed on the first day of school. Of course, we want to have 100% of classrooms fully staffed, but the top goal for this year is 96% on the way to that 100% eventually. As it stands, as of August 22nd, which I believe was this past Tuesday, we were at 95%. So we were very close to that top goal. Our team this summer hired 195 new teachers. We have 95 classroom vacancies right now. The good news is that there are 200 plus long-term substitutes available to fill those positions. And you also want plenty of extras for people who call in sick and things like that. So substitute wise, we are in position to fill those. But again, of course, we're going to keep hiring every day until school starts and even afterwards to fill those vacancies. So as it stands right now, 95% of all classroom positions filled. In the middle of a teacher shortage nationwide, we're really happy with the work the HR team has been putting in, but we're not done. We know that's not good enough and we're going to keep working at it. Lastly, we thought it would be helpful to cover some frequently asked questions that we get. These are also, again, on that back to school page at providenceschools.org. So if you miss any of these, please, they're on there. Common question, of course, is what time does the bell ring? The full bell schedule is on the website there. So if you have students in more than one school, that may be helpful to find your bell times. It is not too late to register for school. Just call our registration office and they're more than happy to help you out. They're still taking calls today and they will be even after school starts. If you have any questions about school supplies, your school should relay that info to you, but reach out to your school's office and I'm sure they can help you out. There's a full list of schools and contacts for the main office on that same page on the website. If a child is nervous to start school, which I am dealing with at home myself, we have several guides, whether it be school-based resources or just guides for you as parents to help talk to a nervous child. and also depending on age level too. So those are very helpful, and hopefully will kind of ease some of those nerves. If you have a question or a concern, the front office at your school is always the great place to start. And they can kind of direct you to the right person within the building, or if it's at the district level as well, they'll kind of steer you to that person. Do keep in mind too that we have free live interpretation services anytime that you go into one of our buildings. So please don't let language ever be a barrier. We will always be able to get you the help you need in the language that you need it. And for those of you who are looking to volunteer at your student school, thank you, first of all. You can reach out to the FACE team. That's the Office of Family and Community Engagement. And Karina here, whose email is listed on the page, is probably your best contact to get in touch. So those cover our FAQs. And if you want to get involved in PAC, I'm going to turn things back over to our hosts to let you know that.
Thanks, Nick. So research shows that when families are involved, students are more successful. And as parents, we know that families are also very busy, and it sometimes can be hard to commit the time to be deeply involved. However, there's a lot of different ways you can get involved at different levels. You can join the Parent Advisory Council, the PAC. We would love to have you at our meetings. We typically have about 25, 30 parents who attend from schools across the district, and we are always looking for more folks to join. If you're interested, please contact Janet Pichardo at the FACE office. Her email is on the screen. You can also join your school's PTA or PTO, or if your school does not have one, you can work with the FACE office to get one started. But the best point of contact for that is usually to start with the principal at your children's school. And finally, you can volunteer at your child's school, as Nick said, so feel free to reach out through Karina, but also you can use this link here or call the number if that's easier for you. And we also just want to take a second to introduce Nick Figueroa, who's the Chief of Family and Community Engagement. So it's his team at the FACE office that does all of this work to help parents find a bunch of different ways to stay engaged. And just one final reminder is that staying in direct communication with your children's teachers and school about how your child is doing and what they need to thrive is the most important thing. And we hope you feel welcome to do so. And if you have questions about the best way to stay in touch, contact your school's leadership or the parent ambassador at your school. They're great resources for helping navigate what happens in our children's schools. And they're a wonderful addition that started last year in the district. So some of them are new, and if you haven't had a chance to meet them at your children's school, definitely a great resource to know.
So just in summary, we just want to say thanks so much for joining us. We hope you'll get involved. We hope this was useful for you. We want to thank Nick Domings from Communications and Nick Figueroa from the FACE office for joining us tonight. We wish you all a wonderful start to the 2022-23 school year. We hope we see you at some of our meetings. Take care.